Welcome to the first episode of Scratch the Backlog. Just like with all types of art, there comes a point in every gamer's life where you're forced to accept the harsh truth. You're not going to be able to play them all. With so many new games released every year and real life constantly getting in the way, it's inevitable that we build up a backburner catalog, the gaming backlog as we call it. Games we keep locked away in our mental freezer and promise ourselves we'll get to someday. We've all got those games sitting there. My mission is to finally play as many of them as I can for the first time, and talk about them right here, and that's what this show is all about. When I'm not dropping regular jabroni reviews on newer titles, I'll be going back to these older games that, for whatever reason, I just never got around to until now. The difference with these is I'm not just reviewing them, I'm gonna see if they hold up. Did they stand the test of time? Does it live up to the hype, or the hate? And most importantly, was it worth it? Was it worth unthawing? Or should I have just left them in cryosleep? That's the focus here. We're scratching hella games off my endless backlog. And who better to start off the series than the Italian jumper plumber himself? Waha! Super Mario Galaxy 2 is one of the many games I just never got around to playing. I thought the first one was spectacular. I enjoyed the hell out of that game, and I couldn't wait to see where 3D Mario was gonna go next. I think by the time Super Mario Galaxy 1 came out, Nintendo realized they'd hit a ceiling by bringing Mario into outer space. So they just threw their hands up and said, fuck it, make another one. So, a few years later we got Super Mario Galaxy 2 while they were still pumping out games for the Wii. The thing about the Nintendo Wii is that it was a cute little gimmick when it first came out. Everybody had one. You'd have your relatives come over, you played some Wii Sports bowling, you'd desperately be trying to convince your grandma this wasn't a huge waste of time. And yeah, the system, it had a handful of good games, but not nearly enough to stand toe-to-toe with the earlier Nintendo consoles. The setup alone was a migraine. I hated setting that thing up. Remember that little flimsy motion sensor bar with the tiny wire? You had to position it just right. Then you'd end up losing the little plastic stand for the console, so your cat would keep coming up and knocking the bitch over. And just the whole idea of it, you know, when you're playing the games, you're flailing your arms around like one of those inflatable tube guys outside of a car wash. So yeah, I'd never gotten around to playing Mario Galaxy 2. You know, it wasn't for a lack of interest, quite frankly, I was just being lazy. I just got tired of the thing, I think everybody did. I remember sometimes I'd be at someone else's house and I would see a Nintendo Wii on the floor over in the corner just collecting cobwebs. It wasn't even that old at that point, I think everyone just got sick of the damn thing. But anyway, fast forward a couple years to 2010 and everybody in the world, including myself, were all done with Wii Sports, okay? We were sick of the motion control fad, we were tired of Xbox pushing the whole Kinect bullshit on us. Mario Galaxy 1, it was great, you know, the Zelda Twilight Princess was great, the other Zelda game that everyone shits on, it was still good. But, you know, it wasn't enough of a library to keep us invested in the system any longer. My Nintendo Wii at this point was nesting dust bunnies in the attic, and along comes Super Mario Galaxy 2, which to this day is one of the highest rated games on Metacritic, sitting at a 97 out of 100, tied with the first game. Holy crow, my guy. I always wanted to play it. The Super Mario series is one of my favorites, and I've played all the other ones. And when I say Super Mario games, I'm talking the mainline series only, okay? If I was talking about every single game featuring Mario in it, we'd be here all damn week. For anybody who's not familiar, let me spell it out real quickly in order of release. Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, and 3, Super Mario World, Super Mario World 2, also known as Yoshi's Island. I know some don't consider this a mainline because it's Baby Mario, but it's a great game, so I think it's worthy. Skipping those Mario Land games on the Game Boy, nobody gives a shit about those. Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, Super Mario 3D Land, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, Super Mario Wonder, and Super Mario Odyssey. I had replayed Galaxy 1 to 100% completion on that 3D's All-Star Collection, which didn't include Galaxy 2 for whatever dumbass reason, so I had to continue waiting. I always knew the day would come though. Finally, I got around to it 15 years after release, as it's recently been ported to the Switch and Switch 2 for everyone's convenience. Super Mario is one of those series where you really can't go too wrong with how you rank them by personal favorites. For me, it's Mario Sunshine, and I get it, we can all rip that game to shreds. Yes, it's got plenty of issues, but I still love it. I love the setting, I love how snappy Mario's movement feels, but let's stay focused here. So, Mario Galaxy 2. For the longest time, this was the only mainline Mario game I had never touched. And I'm not including all this freaking new Super Mario Bros. Wii U, Super Luigi, Peachy Toad, Happy Fun Time, no one gives a shit. We're sticking to the mainline here. Like I said before, this game is sitting at 4th place on Metacritic for highest rated games of all time. My guy, that is crazy. I have heard nothing but endless praise for it. Some consider it better than the first one. Some say it's their favorite in the entire series. Is it really that damn good? Does it live up to all that tremendous hype? Well, I played it, and it does not. Hear me out though, will ya? First of all, let's pump the brakes here for a second, okay? I'm sorry if I insulted your favorite video game. Obviously, Super Mario Galaxy 2 is a good game. It's a very good game, even. But when I compare it to all the other Super Mario games, including the first Mario Galaxy, it falls a tad short. The game starts off with what feels like a rushed version of Galaxy 1's intro just to get things moving. There's the Meteor Shower Festival in the Mushroom Kingdom, and Bowser shows up to kidnap the princess because that's all he ever does. It's all he knows how. He's a child of divorce, cut him a break. Bowser is bigger in size now because of some magical stardust power bullshit, and he goes into space with Princess Peach to scatter all the stars that you need to collect, and why am I even telling you any of this? It's a fucking Mario game. You get the memo. Go collect the stars, save the broads, same mission, new backdrop, stomp on some turtles, yada yada. I'm telling you though, the biggest problem I've got with this game overall is that it just feels like a big-ass expansion to Mario Galaxy 1. It's like they had a bunch of leftover ideas they couldn't cram into the first game, and because DLCs weren't really much of a thing back then, they just stretched it out into a full new game. One of the biggest selling points this time around was you got Yoshi now, big whoop. But he's very hit or miss with the levels you use him in. Sometimes he's fun to use on those sprinting courses, but other times he's just a huge pain in my ass. Another thing about this game that really mashes my meatballs is the lackluster hub world. For crying out loud, my guy, the hub worlds in 3D Mario games are a big part of the experience, so what the fuck is this? They're supposed to be fun just to play around and explore in, but this one sucks. It's his head. It's just his fucking head. And it's not fun to play around in either. It hardly evolves throughout the entire game. I mean, other than populating it with little friends you make throughout the game that don't do anything except stand there and call you an asshole, there's nothing else to it. It basically just serves as your crappy spaceship to hop from one level to the next. But its biggest sin of all is that it's just not interesting. There really isn't much else to do here. It doesn't have the secrets or interconnected elements that made the previous hub world so memorable. It's dull. Unlike the mysterious Peach's Castle in Mario 64, the laid-back tropical vibes of Delfino Plaza in Sunshine, or the whimsical Comet Observatory in Mario Galaxy 1, this is just, it's just Mario's head. And that's what kills me, because you can feel the missed potential here. I picture the dev team absolutely cooked, months of crunch time, sleeping at the office, pitching genuinely cool ideas for what this hub world could have been. Think of it, a massive starship stitched together from different planetoids, little mini platforming challenges you can experiment with, the characters you meet along the way becoming part of your crew, building upon your ship, the universe literally expanding around you, something that evolves as you play, something that feels more like a sequel to the Comet Observatory instead of a huge nerf. A hub world that's more like a playground like all the other ones, not just a menu. And then of course, right at the end of the meeting, some older executive shut it all down. He's all like, nah, fuck that, just make it his head. I bet he was concerned it was going to take too long or be too expensive, because that's exactly how it feels. This game came out a few years before the Wii U dropped, so it was briefly before Nintendo's darker period. Kind of explains a lot, actually. But lousy hub world aside, what else sucks here? Well, I can't really fault it too much for the motion control gimmick of a bygone era. I mean, they did the best they could with the port, and it operates exactly the same way Mario Galaxy 1 does on the Switch. It's fine. But there's certain levels, there's only so much you can do. I mean, those gliding races, or the ones where you have to balance Mario and the bouncy ball, god, those suck. And this is completely my fault, but I wish I had known earlier that pressing the right bumper centers the cursor on the screen. That would have saved me a lot of grief, but that one's on me. Speaking of things that went totally over my head, you know how in some of the Mario games you're accompanied by a sidekick that'll help you out along the adventure? Well, this guy, whatever the hell his name is, I already forgot, he doesn't do shit. I kept forgetting he was even there, and then he'll just pop out of your hat during a story cutscene like, surprise guys, remember me? I'm still here. I'm like, the fuck? Do you fucking do anything productive? And speaking of reminders, the game likes to remind you to consider taking breaks every now and then, like one of those modern car features. Screw you, game, don't tell me what to do. Which kinda brings me to my next point. Mario Galaxy, as well as Super Mario 3D Land and 3D World, are just differently laid out games than the rest, okay? Fine. They aren't as open-ended as I prefer my 3D Mario games to be. The levels are much more linear, usually with a single objective, as opposed to games like Odyssey, Sunshine, or 64, where you can veer off the map, get lost, and possibly go for a different main collectible if you want. This game is more like, this is what you're doing, deal with it, come back for more if you want. And that's fine. Look, I told you, I loved the first Galaxy game. But that's just because that game had its own identity. I still like Galaxy 2, just more like a friend. The storybook thing with Rosalina in the first game was much more magical and endearing to me than the one this time around. I mean, this one was nice too, but it just felt a little too familiar. Rosalina was an interesting character, you know, she had a fascinating backstory. It had a surprising amount of emotional depth to it for a Mario game. But now we get this fat purple parade float instead. The boss fights in this game aren't all that great, but come to think of it, they're not really all that spectacular in most of these games anyway. Some of the boss fights make you redo recycled previous crappy boss fights, but with one health bar instead, so that's kinda whack. The difficulty's fair though. It's never painful. I don't think I ever got mad. Except for that ice skating bonus star I had to do like 12 times, that was tough. I can't complain really, this is the exact level of challenge I was begging for when I was sleepwalking through Donkey Kong Bonanza with how stupid easy that shit was. So here's the thing, despite all my bitching, you should still definitely play this game. If you love the other Mario games, you're probably still gonna have a good time with this, so don't skip it. That being said, it does feel like the one I'm much less likely to revisit once I 100% it. Despite all my grievances, it's still a great game. It just doesn't have that same standout identity like the other 3D Marios do. But who the hell knows, you may even like it more than the first one. I didn't personally. It feels like more retreading than innovation, so it doesn't fully earn its spot for me. But I'm not upset that it's there in the lineup. I mean, we've got my boy Captain Toad here, how bad can it be? Plus you could play as Luigi. And they made a pretty damn faithful remake of Whomp's Fortress from Mario 64, so that's awesome. But they forgot the owl, where's my fucking owl? Super Mario Galaxy 2 is safe. It's got a lot of deja vu through space. It's a glorified DLC, but it's Super Mario, so it's super quality too. Woohoo! If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. And if you have any thoughts about the game that I missed, leave a comment. Take it easy. Thank you so much for listening to my review.
Mamma mia!